Okay everyone, so welcome back and welcome. Misha. Yeah. Nice to meet you. So we were all here yesterday apart from Misha, but I'll just say it all again. There's going to be an intro for a little while, and then after that there's going to be an open space to chat, to ask questions, to sit quietly. Whatever's happening is simply as it is. And when you want to say something, please do hold the microphone, even if it feels awkward and embarrassing. It doesn't matter. Don't strangle. Please don't strangle the microphone, no matter how strong the temptation is. And we'll have a break about halfway through, which will be about 3:40, 3:30, somewhere around there, for about half an hour. So we'll have coffee and tea and biscuits or whatever, or meat, however we feel. And yeah, some of us will be eating out later on as well, which might be fun. So there is only boundless energetic freedom, and this is all there is. This is absolutely everything. Boundless energy, freedom, unconditional love is a nice word. But this boundlessness is absolutely all-encompassingly everything. It's not limited, it's not directional, it's not contained, there's no edges, there's no sort of barriers to this freedom, which is all there is, all-encompassing, totally everything. It's totally beyond limitation, beyond space, because there's no limit, there's no boundary, so there's no real space for boundlessness to be or not be. It just is simply, it's nothing because it's not limited, it's not finite, it's just beyond limitation altogether. And this boundlessness can appear in any which way whatsoever. It can appear as speed, as slow, it can appear as stillness and stagnation, it can appear as contraction and expansion, can appear as temperature, can appear as elements, can appear as air and liquid, and whatever is happening is this freedom, which is totally everything. It's totally everything that's happening. And that's all there is. And when a body, a human body, is born, there can seem to be a sense of this not being all there is. So perhaps there's a baby that's born, a human baby, and sometime after the birth of the biological birth of the human baby, there's just unconditional freedom, there's love, there's no one to know that, obviously, there's just like, wow, there's wonder. It's not coming out of the eyes, it's not coming out of the ears, it's not coming out of anywhere. It's totally like wonder, but no one to be in that, just wonder, without an owner, without a knower. Just, and there's seeing, there's hearing, there's sensation, and it's like all totally vibrant, and it's not even dependent on the physiology of that body. It's not limited to that body, it's the total vibrancy of everything. And the body is happening as that everything. The vibrancy, the sort of aliveness almost, I mean that word's a bit misleading, but it's kind of like a vibrancy and a pulsation of this boundless everything. And the baby is an appearance of that. The body is an appearance of that. And mother is an appearance of that. Caregiver is an appearance of that. Father is an appearance of that. It's all like the boundlessness appearing as whatever's happening. And what can also appear to happen is suddenly it's my mother. Suddenly there's a knowing, there's a mine, there's a sense that I suddenly am knowing my mother. So the distance appears to happen for the human form, for the human physiology, the human anatomy, biochemistry. The body appears to have a sense that someone is happening, someone is happening. So there's a sense that someone is here. And it seems to often be that the mother is the first thing that I am knowing, that I'm relating to. So when it's peekaboo, perhaps suddenly there's a me, there's an I knowing my mother, and there's a distance now. And this distance is the sense of individuality and separation. And personality seems to develop out of that. So there's a separation experience seeming to happen. And as the child apparently grows up, now with the sense of time being a reality, so of course growing up is a time sense. It's like I'm growing up, I'm getting bigger, I'm getting older, I'm getting stronger, I'm getting more intelligent, I'm using language, I'm walking, I'm talking, I'm grabbing things and knowing people and eating food, and all of this seems to be happening to me. It seems to be happening to someone. This is happening to someone. And as that develops, it all seems quite personal and separate. So everything is happening to me, and I'm knowing about everything that's happening. So I'm knowing about my parents, my friends at school, my teachers at school. I'm knowing about the roads and the cars and the trees, the parks, the fields, it's like I'm knowing about it all. It's known by me, a position in space and time. And as that goes on, it develops different experiences, different sensations. Memories is very important to that experience too. I'm having a past that I'm relating to, and I'm using that. And I go through time, and it all seems like a real story is happening. Yeah. And perhaps with the validation from adults, from teachers, caregivers, parents, or other people as well, there's a validation that you are a real person, that I am a real person, that we're all real people, and we're all really separate people, and we're all having different experiences to one another, and we're all looking through the lens of separation, as it were. We're all relating to one another and knowing about each other to some extent. And with that comes a sense that someone's in there controlling this. Someone's controlling the body, choosing how to think, how to feel, and how to behave, and how to speak as well. It's driven by someone. So out of that sense of here comes a sense that someone's in the driver's seat of the body, like a captain up in the deck somewhere. Maybe it's in the head, or maybe it's in the heart, or maybe it's elsewhere. But it feels like someone's driving the body, moving it this way or that way, choosing which way to go. That's part of that separation experience. And that feels to be real. It's not just conceptual. It's not just an idea or a thought. It feels like someone's in control. That's how that sense seems to appear. And as it goes on, perhaps maybe with adolescence, being a teenager and growing up, there's a sense of individuality seeming to strengthen. This is all a complete story, and as it seems to strengthen, it seems to go in its own way and find its way, and an identity seems to become more apparent, and maybe that seems to shift and change. Maybe the teenager becomes a punk rocker or a metalhead or a student of some kind, an academic or a dropout. Whatever is happening is this sort of this identity seeming to emerge and develop and change and shift as the pathways of life are unfolding. And it seems to be with that whole experience of me and my life going in a direction. Yeah? So going in a direction feels a very real, solid experience for the person, for this individual. The individual is always going on a path, it's always moving in a direction. And with a direction comes a sense that there's a destination. I'll get there one day. Whether it's getting a degree, getting a job, a career, a mortgage, a house, a car, a partner, being the best at my career, whether I'm a sports person or an artist, it's always to get somewhere, and if I arrive there, then I'm on to the next one. So perhaps it's all of those sort of academic things, or maybe it's sporty things, or or competitive nature, or maybe it's substances, drinks, drugs, rock and roll, sex, you know, and material possessions and all of that stuff. Those seem to offer a kind of an object of gratification, a destination. I'll get filled up. I get filled up by the acquisition of a thing that I relate to. And this is quite enjoyable for a lot of bodies for a while. Maybe it feels enjoyable for a long time. But it's always on a journey. It's always going somewhere. It's always seeking for something that it wants and can have. And as that goes on and on and on, maybe it turns towards different things. It gets a bit fed up of the same old chase, going after this and that. And maybe it turns towards something apparently deeper, like spirituality or religious teachings, religious books. If I find a holy book, then maybe that will provide the answers. Out of a seemingly existential predicament, I will find the answers as to why I'm feeling dissatisfied, and maybe I can get to a place that is totally fulfilling beyond time, so I can be fulfilled forever. Maybe I can be happy forever. Maybe I can become something greater than imagination. Yeah. So maybe Christianity offers that in the words of the kingdom of heaven. Maybe Buddhism offers that in the words of spiritual enlightenment. Maybe yoga offers that in the sense of samadhi, nirvana. Maybe shamanism offers that in the sense of transcending and reuniting with the mother. It all comes up with these amazing stories, beautiful archetypal ideas and imagined, you know, destinations as to what wholeness looks like. But that idea is always seen and related to through the lens and the veil, the so-called veil of separation. It's always a destination that I'll get to one day. And the one day is never what is. It's never this. It's never the arriving. It's always the going towards or away from. So it's never finding the freedom, because the freedom is not limited to the future. It's not limited by space. It's not limited by consciousness. It's not limited by experience of any kind, because it's free. Freedom is beyond limitation. Unconditional freedom is absolutely everything, therefore. So the separation sense that apparently emerged sometime after the birth of the human body was always looking for something that is never not what's happening. It's looking, it's moving in a direction. It is the appearance of direction. But what it's looking for and yet never finding is absolutely all there is already, everything. There already is no real separate self in a body. There already is no one driving the body. There already is no one choosing how to think about these words or how to say them. There's already no control, and there's already no real time or space or even cause and effect, because what is timeless. It's immediate, therefore there's no distance from it. It's spontaneous, because it's not going in a direction, and it's unconscious because it's immediate. There's no distance for there to be awareness, really. Awareness is a dream. It's a misinterpretation of a body. That's the way it seems to be. Awareness and consciousness is a complete misinterpretation as to how the body seems to be interpreting the so-called world, which is not real. Nothing is real. This is totally whole and complete and free, and yet it's nothing at all. There's nowhere to get to. There's nowhere to arrive. There's nowhere to get away from. There is nowhere. There's no when either. So there's no time for this to become the case. There's no becoming and there's no begoing. There's no coming or going, and there's no staying still either. There's no real momentum or movement or stagnation at all. This is already timelessly and spacelessly complete, boundless, free, and distanceless already. No one ever reveals that or finds that out. It's already the case. the whole sense of looking for that as a destination just apparently collapses, which is not really happening to really collapse. It never really collapses, because it's already not really happening. And this exposure therefore carries absolutely no meaning, purpose, significance, intention, agenda or importance at all. It's of no use, because there's no process to go through. There's no process to go through. There's no one that needs to change or become or fix or cure anything, because nothing is broken. It would seem to be a response to the existential need for something to happen, but there is no need for anything to happen already. The exposure is that nothing needs to happen and that this is already free. And apparently, in a dream, there can be a wobbling of that separate self energy, an energetic trembling, and a sort of a tingling, a buzzing, a pulsating, a shimmering, and then seemingly what's left is just what is already happening, timelessly, free-flowing, vibrant thisness, which is already absolutely everything. And that's it.